Thank you for showing up once again. So if it's your first time here, kindly subscribe to the channel. Now, Maponga has been very vocal on how African countries should be governed. Since independence, most of African countries, they normally refer to themselves as democratic countries. For this context, they normally refer to themselves as democratic because they hold periodic elections, changing leaders after every maybe 5 years, others after 7 years. Now, this trend has not been so much beneficial in African context because number one, we are not realizing improvement in healthcare. We are not realizing improvement in infrastructure. We are not realizing improvement in how Africa should innovate and invent. Now, to fix this, Maponga is suggesting that Africa need dictators. And for this context, we have better dictators, or I can say good dictators. Dictators, for example, President Traoré of Burkina Faso, who within 3 years has transformed his country tremendously. Now, let's have a look at what Maponga is saying, then we can come and internalize and react to what Maponga is saying on how Africa should be governed. Let's watch this.
Talk about Robert Mugabe. Robert Mugabe nearly wanted to leave power in the hands of either his wife or this is what we had. That's why the 2017 November coup happened. What are the benefits of a dictatorship vis-a-vis democracy?
Trump is a dictator, by the way, before you get yourself fantasizing. The king of Britain is a dictator. The ruler of Dubai is a dictator. The leader of China is a dictator. The leader of Singapore is a dictator. But now when you look at China, we call it benevolent dictatorship, where the people vote for their leader.
3,000.
Then they give him permission.
3,000 people.
Yeah, and they give him permission to say, run. Get to Singapore, you have meritocracy, where on the basis of qualification, the best man for the job must run and trust his judgment. You get to Dubai, the royal house decides what must happen. I don't know who drugged Africans to tell them that democracy works. But for 65 years, from Kwame Nkrumah, coming down to Nelson Mandela, the whole of Africa is crying with leadership. I have traveled the whole width and breadth of Africa, from Tanzania to Nigeria, to Ghana, to Botswana, to Namibia, to Mozambique. Every country, Zimbabwe included.
Are they also crying in Burkina Faso and
Burkina Faso
and Rwanda?
They even told the West, leave us alone. We'll talk issues of democracy later. Right now, we're doing development. We are happy with the status quo. Keep these dictators as they are. So a dictator, in my word, when I said that, it must be a dictator, number one, who dictates the right thing, who has a clear agenda. And a man who has a clear agenda, a national agenda, that benefits the people. To hell with democracy. People want food. People want water. People want roads. And to implement these things, the democratic system is full of bureaucracy. I've used an illustration once, right now, where if a toilet is not working, under a fully functional democratic government, you must come and report it. Then it's written, toilet not working. Then you must call a sitting. How are we going to repair the toilet? Minute 8. After that, let's begin to find who will fix the leaking toilet. And before you that, there's a holiday for 3 days. We'll come back to Parliament next week. When you come back to Parliament, let's find the companies that can actually do it. Can you have 3 quotations or 4 quotations? We'll give you 2 weeks to do your quotations. The quotations come. Then the judiciary, the adjudication must sit down and decide who amongst these ones must do the project. And after that, then we must go and procure from the Department of Finance how much will it cost us to fit this vis-a-vis what has been quoted. And while you are doing that, we award the contract. After you finish awarding the contract, there is an appeal from one of them who loses the appeal that actually my quotation was better. Let's start again. You will spend 3 years with the toilet that is not fixed, but the system is trying to get it fixed. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And this is where Africa is.
Let me just do a disclaimer here. Number one, not all democratic countries are democratic in really sense. Look at a country like Democratic Republic of Congo, conflict everywhere. and they are referring to themselves as democratic. Look at a country like North Korea. They normally refer to themselves as democratic. So not all democratic countries in really sense are democratic. At the same time, not all dictators are good dictators. We have good dictators in Africa. A good example is President Ibrahim Traoré. Look at what this gentleman is doing in Burkina Faso, transforming Burkina Faso to another level. Improvement in healthcare, improvement in security within the Sahel region. Look at the transport system, building of roads, infrastructure, tremendous work. But he has been dubbed as a dictator by the West. But for we as Africans, we can appreciate this kind of dictatorship because it's trying to put Burkina Faso to another level on the map of Africa in terms of development, where the national people of Burkina Faso, they are enjoying the fruits of the government. At the same time, we have dictators in Africa who are now the so-called bad dictators. A good example, take a good example. Look at a country like Cameroon, President Biya. I think President Biya is more than 90 years old. As you're speaking now, he's in France, being treated. France as a government is running Cameroon. That is poor dictatorship. Look at president like Mathias Nguema, president of Equatorial Guinea, if I'm not wrong. The countries are just sinking into poverty, but them as leaders, they are flourishing to another level. Those are bad dictators. We don't need to praise them. We have to praise the good dictators such as Ibrahim Traoré in Africa. And as far as it's concerned, I think President Traoré is the only bad dictator in Africa, dubbed by the West. But we as Africans, we have dubbed him as a good dictator because he's doing what the people of Burkina Faso want. If you understand the politics of the Sahel region, you can realize that Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they've formed an alliance of nations coming together, uniting for same economic purpose, coming together, uniting for security within the Sahel region. This is what Africa needs. And in my opinion, I think the Sahel region, they are doing better than even what African Union is doing. In fact, African Union should go to the Sahel region, benchmark what they are doing, then come and implement to the rest of African countries, because African Union as a union is crap. They are not even solving conflicts within Africa. Look at Somalia, we have conflicts. Look at Ethiopia itself. Ethiopia, we have tribal conflicts in Ethiopia. Look at countries like the DRC. Conflicts all year round. But we have African Union, which is a toothless bulldog. They just bark, but they cannot bite. So they have to go to the Sahel region and at least learn from what we call benchmarking, what they did right and what they can embrace from the Sahel region and come to embrace to the entire African countries. In fact, most of the Sahel region leaders, they normally don't attend African Union. Reason is they are barred from attending the African Union because they were not democratically elected by the people of those countries. So they have to be democratically elected for them to go to the African Union to do the annual speeches in the African Union. Things that are not even taking this continent to another level. So for me, my take, this is my take. Africa needs dictators like Traoré. And we have to support Traoré to the maximum. We, the young people of Africa, Africa in Africa and Africa in diaspora, we have to take this gentleman to another level. That is what we are doing. And this is my contribution. Speaking about it is my contribution. So thank you for showing up once again. If it's your first time here, Make sure you like this video and share it to your friend. If it's not your first time here, I really thank you because you've come again to watch this video. See you next time. Bye bye.